Welcome to Buzzed and Baffled, the podcast where the wine is flowing, the stories get weird, and we try our best to keep the chaos to a minimum. Try being the keyword.
Before we jump in, a quick behind-the-scenes truth. Producing the show is basically an Olympic sport. Between being the media manager, the sound engineer, the editor, and trying to control her own voice volume, which, let's be honest, Nicole's has the natural power of a small megaphone, things can get a little unpredictable. So if you hear the occasional mic spike, just know it's not your headphones. It's Nicole living her best and loudest life.
Disclaimer: we're not experts, just two curious humans with wine in hand and an enthusiasm for the bizarre. Some topics may be dark, sensitive, or downright strange, so listener discretion is advised. And remember, everything you hear is for entertainment only, so take the story seriously, just not too seriously.
And any opinions shared on this podcast are our own and not reflective of any third party.
Now, pour a glass, settle in, and get ready to be buzzed and baffled. So we almost had a crisis.
Yeah. So we just recorded the episode you're about to listen to.
And my computer froze again.
Which happened on the lost episode that nobody's still heard.
You haven't heard it yet.
Which we had to re-record. And I almost had my own nuclear meltdown today.
I saw her stare off into the abyss.
But we have the steps figured out now if this happens again.
So do you want to be in charge of buying the USB thing to save all of the episodes externally so my MacBook isn't bogged down, or do you want me to do it?
You buy it and I'll pay for it, or I'll split it with you because I don't know what kind of shit you need with a Mac.
So at Walmart.
The real problem here is Nicole uses a Mac.
No, that is not the problem.
That is the problem. But enjoy the episode.
But the good news is we recovered this.
We recovered it.
And
now
we
know.
fixed it. And now you get to see me be Oppenheimer. I got it right on the first try. The speakers are off. We're recording off the soundboard.
Wow. And because I had to put the mics back on, I was able to nicely twist that. And so it's not just like straight across cord when you pull it towards yourself.
To give yourself extra because you like to stretch it as far as humanly possible.
Yep.
When we got in, I was telling Kyla how nice and bright it is in here with the new pink curtains.
Yeah. Oh, there's my pencil. I gotta write it on here because I won't remember it in 30 seconds.
Well, I won't remember it when I have to put all the stuff on the website tomorrow. So she didn't title her podcast. She's not a true professional.
No. I'm a loser.
Gotta get you like a yellow pencil so you remember. A bright yellow pencil.
That's not gonna make me remember.
But we're back.
Yeah.
We're back in the pod room.
Back in where we belong.
Yep. Locked away where we can't bother anybody in the back.
Out of the public eye.
Uh-huh. Got stuff in here. Can you open the window a little bit?
I knew you were going to ask me to do that.
Having a flash. Ah, there.
I'm going to freeze to death. Oh, bye, Lana.
Hey, you're also having flashes now.
No, I'm not. That's the one thing I'm not having, except in the middle of the night.
One of us. One of us.
Lana, you were being so good. Go lay down or I'm going to kick you out.
So do we have anything exciting to update our dear listeners for? Our dear readers?
I don't think so.
Okay. So should I just introduce the wine?
Yeah, let's just get into it. Yep.
Kui?
I think so.
Okay. It's a Malbec rosé, and it looks like it's a cute little guinea pig on the front.
I forgot we had that. Or maybe you brought that when you were going to do an animal pod.
Maybe.
I don't remember.
No, I'm going to take a picture of it right now because we didn't have a themed wine, so I wasn't prepared.
Yeah, and it'll be apparent to our dear readers why we don't have a themed wine very shortly. We had a themed dinner, though.
Okay.
So I'm 1 for 2.
So
this is a cork with wax on it.
So this is going to be a challenge for me.
She's already Oh, and I forgot she twists the bottle instead of the corkscrew.
I'm left-handed, Kyla. It's the only way I can do it.
You can twist the corkscrew with your left hand, you ding dong.
No, I can't. I have a bad shoulder.
Wah, wah, wah.
Do you see how hard this is? I already fixed my gait today. Like, what else do you want from me?
When you said gait, I thought you meant like your walking gait.
No,
Like GAIT. I was like, did you go to physical therapy or something?
no, the gate on my fence, like it fell off the hinge or something.
Yeah.
And then I looked, and whoever put the hinge on, the top one was upside down, so I don't even know how it stayed on as long as it did.
Was it Bink?
No, it was Hilty that did it. So- oh, Lord.
Look, you did it. You did that all by yourself.
In one shot.
In one shot.
I didn't break the cork.
Through the wax and
I
everything.
didn't break the cork or anything. I'm very proud of me.
And it's a real cork, so it can go in our cork box.
Uh-huh. Thanks, Dawn, for our cork box.
Cork box. Yeah, I don't think there's anything to update people on. Episode 53. Oh, I did see, I believe our website went live a year ago today.
Yeah, we just renewed.
Yeah.
I'm going to send you the link. You owe me money for that.
I sent you, oh no, I sent you Podbean money. God dang it.
Yep.
Oh,
And Inquire
okay,
money.
people, I need you to start like listening to this and telling people about it because this is costing us money to do. We need to get sponsored.
Well, so one thing we did consider doing is I learned that we could do drop shipping from Vistaprint. So
Mhm.
people, if they wanted to, could order a Buzzed and Baffled t-shirt, and then they could choose their own size and stuff. And it's
Color
like,
or whatever.
yeah, we don't make money off of it, but you could have our merch
But yeah,
if you
could have
wanted to.
merch.
So that's on my
Okay.
list of things to do, is to figure out how to do that.
Yeah. Tell your friends, like, subscribe, and
Like,
share, and subscribe. I was gonna say like, subscribe, and share.
Do you smell toast?
No.
So the Kui Malbec Rosé Natural. It says Mendoza, so I'm assuming that's where it's from. But it doesn't say anything else on the back. It says it's made of organic grapes, estate grown and bottled, no sulfites added.
Oh,
And it is definitely a cute little guinea pig.
okay.
So that's a big pour. Hope it's good.
Yeah, when I was shopping with this episode in mind, I was looking for something specific. I knew I wouldn't be able to find like a wine from the Ukraine because let's be real, there's literally like a war going on there right now. But I was looking for anything I could possibly tie,
Yeah.
and I really couldn't find anything.
I'm surprised that they're not sinking money into their wine country. Like, what
I don't
else
even
do
know
they
if there
have?
is wine country in the
I have no
Ukraine.
idea. Oh, we have our Mayhem.
Oh yeah, I put that up.
Yeah, we went to see Lady Gaga, and so we have
Yep.
our Mayhem flag up next to our Lord and Savior, Alanis Morissette.
Mm-hmm. One of our apostles,
Yep.
Freya the Walrus.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's
Okay.
see if this is any good. It smells like it's going to be tart.
It is tart. It's like sour.
Ugh! That hit you right in the back of the throat.
Did this turn? Like it's okay, but I'm just wondering because
Well,
it says there's no
it's not a
sulfites.
2004, so I don't think
And I
so.
know it's been in the wine fridge for a while.
It's a 2024, so I doubt it's
Oh,
turned.
okay. Then we're fine.
I think
No.
it's,
I think I just wasn't expecting it to be sour at the end.
yeah, it's just not the best rosé, but it's also a Malbec rosé.
Oh, yeah.
so-
Instead of a Pinot rosé like we
Yeah.
usually have or whatever.
Yeah. But tell-
Episode 53.
What are we talking about?
We are going across the Atlantic Ocean to Pripyat of the Ukrainian Soviet Socialist Republic in the Soviet Union.
Okay.
What's the date today? April 25th?
April 25th.
Well, this story starts on April 25th, 1986, so exactly 40 years ago.
Okay.
I didn't really plan that,
That's just
but after I wrote it, I was like, oh,
happy little accident.
and I have entitled, well, ChatGPT has entitled this, Glow Big or Go Home.
Okay.
This is the Chernobyl disaster.
Crispy.
And of course, this is back when the Soviet Republic was still a thing.
Is this why I had a little chicken globe for dinner?
Yeah. Yeah, we had chicken Kiev for dinner. So
She made it homemade.
I did. Yeah.
It was delicious. But I did point out to her that she refuses to make homemade fried chicken, but she's willing to go to all the effort to make a homemade chicken Kiev.
Shut up. All right. April 25th, 1986. For the record, I was not born yet.
Really?
Well, Nicole, if my 40th birthday is in 2 weeks, no, I wasn't born yet. I was negative 2 weeks old when this happened.
Oh, I was bored.
Yeah, you were there.
I'm the reason it happened.
Yeah, your name is in this story.
I was the one who turned the off button.
Mhm. Operators were preparing to conduct a safety test on reactor number 4 of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant. They were trying to determine, as part of this test, that if the power went out, would the still spinning turbines generate enough electricity to continue to power the coolant pumps in the 60 to 75 seconds before the backup generators kicked in.
Okay.
Because you have to have continuous flow of coolant in a nuclear reactor, and we'll talk about nuclear stuff a little bit later. But they're hoping that, hey, before energy kind of winds down for that, because it takes a hot minute for the generators to kick in. These aren't just like little Hondas in the back of your house.
Yeah.
These are huge things.
Like for everyone to start, everything to kick in and start turning.
Yeah, so they're saying when the power is cut, is there enough rotational energy to keep coolant flowing? That's because the turbines are already spinning.
Did Chernobyl happen because they did an experiment and it went horribly wrong and everybody died? I actually didn't know what caused Chernobyl.
And I do have, you can hold on to this. This is just like a generic schematic of the nuclear reactor. So you can see there's turbines. You can just kind of see the layout of it.
Okay. I'm assuming this is the tower.
Yeah, that's where the actual reaction takes place. But there's pipes and coolant and all that stuff. It was mathematically calculated that the turbines would have enough residual energy to provide about 45 seconds of runtime for the coolant.
That's not a lot.
No. But they still needed to confirm it in a real world scenario because we know math can get you close, but there's so many variables.
I feel like you test that without the nuclear materials in it, not after you put the nuclear materials in it.
You do a dry run before you load up the uranium.
Yeah, I feel like that would be, but I'm willing to bet these are all male engineers.
Oh, 100%. There's not a single female in this story. Actually, that's not true.
Well, you said I was there.
Yeah. It was believed that the 15 to 30 seconds between when the turbines ran out of their own energy and the emergency generators activated was enough to be manageable. So they didn't think anything critical would happen in that 15 to 30 second period.
I feel like but they were mistaken. Morgan Freeman is like, but they were wrong.
Keeping the reactor cool is crucial, like I said. If the core overheats, it will cause a nuclear meltdown.
Which is bad.
Which is very bad. Reactor number 4, because it's like a power plant.
Okay.
Had 1,661 fuel rods that required over 11.8 million gallons of water circulation every hour to keep it cool. So that's one reactor in this whole power plant.
Where are they getting all this water from?
So you'll have to look, but there's like a supply.
Okay,
like it's on like a
river
lake or something. Yeah.
So it's like Torch Lake where you can't eat the fish.
And a lot of it is closed loop.
Okay.
So like an air conditioner.
So it just keeps so it cools down and as it comes through.
As it goes down, goes away from the reactor, it cools down, comes back in, absorbs heat, goes away, cools down.
Just like the amount of energy it must take just to stop this thing from exploding is probably extraordinary.
Workers began to reduce the reactor's power at about 1 a.m., expecting to be at the correct level later in the day because it takes this. Nothing is quick. You're talking massive amounts of water, energy.
Yeah.
These are like huge scale things. And they were expecting to be at the correct power level in the reactor to coincide with planned maintenance that was happening later anyways. So they're like, hey, we're going to have to pull the power down anyways. let's do this experiment. By 2 p.m., so 13 hours later, the emergency core cooling system is intentionally disabled for the test
Okay.
because they don't want it kicking on. They want to make sure the
Yeah.
turbines are still going to spin. The test, however, was delayed due to an unexpected increase in power needs in the region. A power station somewhere else in the Ukraine unexpectedly went offline.
This is why maybe you do this at like 1 a.m., not 2 p.m. in the afternoon.
So they couldn't keep drawing the power down.
Yeah.
But remember, the emergency coolant system is still off. At 11:10 p.m., permission to continue the shutdown and begin testing is received. But by now, a different crew is working. Now it's the night shift.
I'm willing to guess that they didn't have like a shift turnover like nurses do, where like you sit down and tell the people what happened on the previous shift.
Yeah. They were expecting to only maintain the shutdown plant because they knew this maintenance was happening. But now they have to conduct this test that they did not train or were not prepared for, did not know they were going to have to do.
Maybe the other team just stays.
And you're actually 2 shifts now because you had, so day shift was supposed to do the test. They're gone.
Yeah.
Your swing shift is gone, and now you're on midnights.
And the midnight shift, sorry, Jeff, is usually not your A team.
Especially when they're like, oh, this is going to be the easiest day ever. The plant is shut down.
No,
We literally just got to show up.
you never go in being like, it's going to be a quiet day.
The deputy chief engineer of the plant, Anatoly Dyatlov, who also designed and wrote the test, was present to oversee the operation. So
Well,
at least
that's
he's
good.
there. And he was the highest ranking official on site at the time.
Willing to bet he's got some regrets.
Maybe. Also present were Alexander Akimov, the crew chief, and Leonid Toptunov, the senior reactor controller.
I want to know how Bo corrects your pronunciation of these things after she listens.
Well, I was
going
to ask her, but she's Polish, so she wouldn't know.
You're probably spot on.
I'm sure I am. Toptunov was 25 years old and had been a senior engineer for about 3 months.
Oh, no.
Yeah, poor kid. Okay. Now is where we're going to talk about nuclear fission.
I am so excited.
And I tasked Nicole about 3 weeks ago because I didn't want to give you a gotcha on air. When I was
She's
like,
nicer
now
than some
tell
of-
me about nuclear fission. I don't know if you want this or need this.
Nope.
Okay.
So, with nuclear fission, you introduce a neutron to a nuclear heavy atom, meaning the number of atoms is already high in the nucleus.
Neutrons. The number of neutrons is high.
Oh. It makes it too heavy and it becomes unstable.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of trembling and shaking happens and the nucleus splits. The collision of them hitting each other is what causes the nucleus to split. When the split happens, the nucleus breaks apart, ramming into other nuclei, causing a chain reaction.
Mm-hmm.
As the chain reaction happens, a lot of energy and heat is emitted. So if it's not contained, it can destroy the things around it. So how I pictured it is that I have a bunch of TNT and it's old. Water has been dripping on it, making it a little bit unstable. As the water wears it down, one stick explodes. As this happens, the next stick explodes, causing a chain reaction until all of the TNT and everything around it is burned up. An example I have is that Kyla yells at David and David yells at Lana.
Yep. Yeah, that's
how nuclear
yeah,
fission
that's
happens.
yeah.
Are you surprised at how accurate I am?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. But I wanted to make sure you had at least the most basic of understanding of it.
But I want everyone to know that she watched me in the middle of Gino's Google this, read something for about 10 minutes and say, yeah, I got it.
I was like, are you sure?
But I did.
And it's not that complicated. For our dear readers who might be a little bit more visual, need something to picture in their head. It's also like James had mentioned, which is the same analogy that I know, is if you're playing pool, the rack your racked pool balls
Mm-hmm.
are your atom.
Yep.
And the cue ball is a neutron.
Mm-hmm.
When you hit that neutron into the atom, it splits apart. But then from there, just imagine that the 8-ball from that rack continues and it just keeps going and going.
It bounces and bounces
Yep.
and bounces. So I do have an illustration from good old ChatGPT that I made with my TNT analogy to post.
And that's just a generic
Yep.
photo of it. And the thing to remember is it's a chain reaction.
So each neutron hits the next fission product.
But it's not 1-to-1.
Mm-hmm.
So one neutron hits an atom, but that atom has a bunch of neutrons. So that atom's thousands of neutrons. It's not thousands.
But
150 neutrons
there's
are
no way
also splitting off.
But there's no way to control which ones are going to stick together and
Right.
which ones. So it's a little bit chaotic.
It's very chaotic. So that's all you really need to know is that it's a chain reaction. It's hard to control.
Just call me Oppenheimer.
I know. My physicist partner over here.
Well, when you're the one who created atoms, it's very easy to explain.
So the heat released during the reactions generates steam, which spins the turbines, which generates power. That's why we have nuclear power. That's what this plant did. Just after midnight on April 26th, as power is being intentionally reduced, an event known as reactor poisoning occurred, and the power level dropped below what is considered stable. Reactor poison. Oh, go ahead.
My illustration.
Very nice.
She says, like you say to a small child, who just like, look at this.
I'll put that on my fridge. No, we'll put these all on buzzandbaffle.net for all of our curious physics curious listeners.
I know that some people go, because I can see how many visitors we get every day, so I can look and see if people are looking.
Yeah. Reactor poisoning is when xenon-135, a byproduct of nuclear fission, builds up faster than it's being burned off due to the already reduced power. So they've pulled power down on purpose for this test. Now the xenon's building up, which further reduces power. And the power levels continue to drop in the reactor. This makes it controlling.
Dangerous?
Yeah, it makes it harder to control. But reactor poisoning is a known phenomenon, and you plan for it.
I'm guessing not well enough.
It's predictable. Like, you know this is probably going to happen, so you use it in your calculations.
I'm picturing them being like laissez-faire about this, being like, oh, same old, same old. We're almost having a meltdown, but it'll be fine.
To counteract the reactor poisoning and return power to safe levels, the system automatically raises a section of the control rods. So the control rods stick into the reactor core, and they help, I don't want to say block, but slow down those loose neutrons.
So it's a barrier almost. So they hit the rods instead of other nucleuses.
Yes.
And that's nuclei.
Oh my God. So that's how you control nuclear reaction is with these rods. Some of them are fuel rods. So as you raise and lower them, you're balancing what's going on in the core.
But also, like, you're just kind of guessing.
Yeah, you're really just looking at graphs and
it's very much
and stuff.
It's very much just like vibes, and you're trying to decide like which way to go.
Yep. Yeah, because there's so many variables. System automatically raises part of the control rods because they want power to go up, so they want more reaction to take place. But a second section failed to activate due to an imbalance in the system. And it's in the ionization chambers, but that's a different thing. Toptunov then manually reduces the power even more to further stabilize those chambers.
Yeah.
So they're playing catch up here.
You're not going to catch up.
Something goes wrong. They're doing something else to fix it, but then something else is happening because it's a chain reaction. So power drops even more because he's lowered it. The reactor at that time was only operating at 5% of the minimum power level needed to conduct this test.
Not great.
No. So what do?
Shut it down?
No. Pull more rods up from the reactor to raise the power.
But doesn't that mean more neutrons are slamming into things and it's heating up?
Mm-hmm.
But the water's shut off, and so it's going to get too hot.
The water's still going.
Okay.
Yeah. They haven't turned off the turbines yet because they can't get the power to stabilize.
You just said yet, so this isn't promising.
They raise the control rods all the way up, increasing the power to 200 megawatts, but it's still well short of the 700 megawatts outlined in the test plan.
So this is like a hope and a prayer. We're not even close.
Yep. Again, they raise more rods, causing the count of inserted rods, control rods, to fall below the minimum required number of 15. So you have to have 15 there just to like
not die.
And
they have like 2, I'm assuming.
Yeah, it was less than 15. The control room didn't know that there were less than 15 rods remaining, however. There were no instruments installed to count rods in real time.
Ah! Goddamn men.
Just making sure this is the next one. With nearly all the rods removed, the reactor became extremely unstable. Water in the cooling system did not have adequate time to cool down through its loop before being reintroduced. And it remained close to boiling point the whole time, creating bubbles, voids, in the cooling system like a vacuum.
But that's real great for neurons just like,
look at you
flying around.
Yeah. Yes, you're exactly right.
I told you I'm Oppenheimer.
Oh, I was going to hit the horn button, but it didn't go. The voids intensify the nuclear chain reaction, causing more boiling, more voids through a positive feedback loop that was undetectable to the operators.
Well, I'm imagining like every time it hits a void, it's going to get spit out eventually into like a chaos thing, and everything's just going to shake more.
The test finally begins at 1:23:04 a.m.
Why are they continuing with the test? We have bigger problems we need to deal with.
24 hours after they were supposed to start.
Did the first shift come back on and be like, what the fuck, guys?
As power was drawn back from the reactor, coolant flow rate decreased, causing more steam voids to form in the system, further adding to the instability in the positive feedback loop. Everything is just getting worse and worse, and everything they do is making it worse. But about 40 seconds later, the test was concluding because they knew they only needed a little bit of time, and an operator presses the emergency button to initiate the emergency shutdown protocol.
I'm guessing nothing happened.
Well, we're not exactly sure why, but it was probably because they wanted to shut everything down because they had this maintenance period coming up. So they knew they were going to do the experiment, then shut everything down for the maintenance. The emergency button was intended to fully insert all the control rods completely down.
Yeah.
It's just like
everything goes
down and slow the nuclear reaction. It takes about 18 seconds for the rods to go all the way down from
That's actually really quick.
From the top to the bottom of the reactor.
Picturing them just like slamming down.
A few seconds into the rods being lowered, remember it only takes 18 seconds.
So here's a question I have as I'm thinking about it. Inside the chamber, is it liquid or is it gas? Like what's inside?
It's water.
Okay, so it's like a liquid and the rods are going into liquid.
Yes, it's water. And you can look at this if you need to. I'll talk about that in just a second, but
them's the rods.
Yep. Rods going into water.
Okay.
And you can see like.
And so the uranium is in these things?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a key on that.
Yeah, so for people who obviously, unless you're like looking at the website as you're doing this, there's like silos, and each silo contains the uranium and the water's flowing around it.
Yeah, there's 1,600 little holes essentially.
Yeah.
For the rods to go into. And if you go on Wikipedia, there's a diagram that shows at the time of that started, which of the 1,600 rods were in, which were out, which are fuel, which are control, that sort of thing. I didn't print it out because I was like, I don't care that much. Okay, so a few seconds into this 18-second lowering process, a power spike occurred. And this is where that diagram comes in. The reactor type at Chernobyl had control rods with graphite ends on them. It was known.
Did it spark?
No, but it was known that lowering the rods from full removal would temporarily increase the reactor output, because you can see as the rods pass down, there's spaces where it's like, oh, it's going up, and then it goes down, and then it goes up, and that's just poor design on the rods.
Yeah.
And this was known because it was known that lowering the rods from being fully removed would temporarily increase output, which was discovered in 1983, only 3 years earlier, when a power spike occurred in a similar style reactor in Lithuania, but no countermeasures were ever implemented.
So they knew it was a problem, but nobody fixed it.
Yep. An investigative report would later state, quote, apparently there was a widespread view that the conditions under which the positive scram effect, scram is the emergency shutdown name, would be that would need, let me start over, that would...
Are you having a stroke?
Okay. The conditions under which the positive scram effect would be important would never occur. However, they did appear in almost every detail in the course of actions that led to the Chernobyl accident.
Never say never, people.
Yeah. We don't need to worry about that. These 5 things that have to happen will never happen.
Because if I have a saying, it's things can always get worse.
The power spike caused the reactor to overheat and fractured several of the fuel rods, which likely jammed the control rod mechanism, leaving them stuck only a third of the way in.
Yay!
Within just a few seconds, the reactor's power output rose from 200 megawatts to over 530 megawatts, causing temperatures to rise and steam to build up and explode 18 seconds after the emergency button was pressed. So they were expecting those rods to be at the bottom, but they got jammed, and there's an explosion. Because everything has just like...
It's like a series of unfortunate events, but you poorly designed so many separate things.
Coolant lines were severed, causing remaining coolant to flash into steam and further increase the temperature, pressure, and thermal power of the system.
So does this like explode in the faces of the people in the control room?
No, because they're in like if you think of it like a big warehouse or something, they're in a room.
Like far
like
away.
Overlooking...
So there's some poor peon who's there trying to manage things, and they get exploded.
They're in the building, but you're not like
working in the reactor.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, not yet.
Not yet. The explosion was so strong that the 1,000-ton upper plate, remember a ton's 2,000 pounds, so you have 2,000 pounds, upper plate of the reactor.
That's like 2 walruses.
It's like 1,000 walruses. Blew through the roof of the building.
Damn.
The roof contained asphalt, which is combustible and was against safety regulations to be present in roofing material.
Someone tried to save a penny.
Pieces of the flaming material landed near reactor number 3's roof and started at least 5 fires over there. Reactor number 3 was still operating just fine. Its crew chief wanted to shut it down, but was denied by the chief engineer.
Oh, no. So we thought he was going to be a hero, but he's not.
Employees would be given respirators and potassium iodide tablets, which are used for thyroid protection in nuclear accidents.
Oh, that's really going to fix everything, guys.
And instructed to keep working.
I'd be like, fuck you.
The crew chief later shut down reactor number 3 on his own. He's like, I'm absolutely not doing this. This is ridiculous.
He's like, I'm going against your orders, and I'm doing what needs to be done.
Just a few seconds after the first explosion, a second explosion occurred. It was estimated to have power equivalent to 225 tons of TNT.
See?
And blew pieces of the now damaged reactor core, because it's damaged in the first explosion, like shrapnel throughout the area, but it also stopped the fission reaction.
But does that also mean that the core is leaking all over the goddamn building?
Yes.
Okay. Just want to make sure.
It's not reacting anymore, but all the pieces are blown around.
But now you have nuclear waste just leaking all over the building.
Holes blown in the walls and roof of the building allowed oxygen to reach the core, fanning existing graphite fires. Graphite has a melting point of around 6,600 degrees.
That's pretty high.
That's hot. It's hot in there. And contributing to the spread of radioactive material through the air.
Did it smell like that pit that I brought you to in Wisconsin Rapids?
I don't know. Despite the obvious pieces of graphite and reactor fuel blown literally everywhere, crew chief Alexander Akimov believed the core was still intact.
Why? Why would he think that?
basing his belief on inaccurately low radiation readings because the equipment could not read radiation
That high.
that high.
So basically, ego.
That's like if you step on a scale and it spins back around 0 like to 1, you're not 1 pound.
Like, look at how much weight I've lost. This is great.
Yeah. A different dosimeter, the reactor tester, was brought in later, and he said, no, that's defective.
And the guy was like, no, like, this is accurate. Like, we all need to go. We're going to die. I mean, at that point, you're all going to die anyway. It's too late.
He stayed in the reactor building overnight, ordering his crew to try and pump coolant water through the system.
Like, with a hose or what?
Yeah, I'm sure. Like,
so, like, me up on my deck today, washing my deck off with a garden hose.
None of that crew had any protective gear on. Not that it would have helped, but...
No, I mean, you're all going to die anyway. It's too late.
The worst radiation levels measured were around 20,000 roentgens per hour. Roentgen is a unit named after a physicist.
So
I think his name was Wilhelm Roentgen.
Well, because I know you can go to Chernobyl still, but you have to wear special suits and you have to carry, is it a redometer?
A dosimeter, yeah.
Yeah. And like,
Geiger counter or something like that.
Yeah. And like when it hurts a certain number, you have to leave. Like, what is that number?
Yeah. I don't know. Well, yeah, I do know. So radiation levels there are 20,000 roentgens per hour. A lethal dose is about 500 roentgens per hour.
So you're all dead.
Yeah. Some unprotected workers receive fatal doses of radiation in less than 60 seconds of exposure. Most died within 3 weeks after the disaster.
Wow. That must have been a horrible death.
Yeah, and I'll talk about it.
Because I'm assuming that like rewrites your DNA.
Yes and no. And I'll talk about that. I do have a spot about that later. Firefighters arrived shortly after the explosions, but were not aware of how dangerous the scene was. Nobody told them that it was the reactor on fire. So they did not have appropriate protective equipment on.
I'm just going to go out on a limb and say if I am reporting to a fire at a nuclear reactor, I'm always going to assume it's the reactor.
I'm going to have my lead on.
And it's not like a garbage can fire.
But they worked really hard, and by 5 a.m., 4-ish hours later, the fires had been extinguished except for the core fire. To put out the core fire and reduce the release of radiation, about 600 Soviet pilots flew over 1,000 helicopter missions to drop more than 5,000 tons of material onto the reactor.
Not water, like extinguishing material?
No, they're trying to put sand
and
gravel and like physical.
So they're trying to like fill the tube, basically.
Yeah, they're trying to like smother the fire because it's too hot to put water on because it's just going to steam. Yeah. So you have to do something with like sand.
Yeah. Which would just turn to glass, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but I think they were trying to like dump a bunch on.
They're trying to cut off the oxygen supply.
It was later discovered that nearly none of the material made it to the core.
It is incinerated.
Yeah. The fire burned until May 10th, 1986, 24 days later.
How close to a town is this?
It's on a town.
Oh, that's good.
Yep. It's like on the outskirts of a town.
Okay.
Residents of the nearby city were not alerted to the disaster until morning. The plant was run by officials in Moscow, who did not promptly communicate to the Ukrainian government.
I find that so hard to believe that a Russian government would not accurately predict what is happening in a Ukrainian. Okay.
The chairwoman of Ukrainian parliament at the time.
Who was in charge of Moscow at this time? Because this was still communist. This was still communist Moscow, right?
Gorbachev, I think.
Because it was still like.
Yeah, I think it would have been Gorbachev.
The guy with a weird thing in his head.
The chairwoman of parliament at the time was called at 9 a.m. the next morning by the Minister of Internal Affairs, who only casually mentioned at the end of the conversation that there had been a fire at Chernobyl.
I bet you this lady's like, what the fuck, lead with that?
Yeah. Yeah, he's like...
The first woman in the story is like...
They're talking about whatever, and he's like, oh yeah, before I let you go, by the way, Chernobyl's on fire. Gotta go. Bye. He said it was put out and everything was fine. It wasn't until later in the day that a commission was formed to investigate the accident.
I think you need to take your scissors there.
By then, 2 people had died and 52 were hospitalized. It was April 27th.
They're all dying.
Yeah, it was April 27th before the residents of Pripyat were evacuated, being told to only take necessary items and expect to be gone for about 3 days.
But didn't some of them refuse to leave?
Yes.
Yeah. Because there were people who were like, no, this is my home. And it's like
Mhm.
the little grandma who's
Mhm.
like, no.
On April 28th, radiation levels set off alarms at a nuclear plant in Sweden, over 600 miles away from Chernobyl.
Oh, that's not great.
No, Swedish authorities contacted Soviet officials to ask if there had been an accident somewhere in the Soviet Union. Because they're like, hey, this is weird.
That shouldn't be happening.
Officials initially denied it and then said only a minor accident had occurred.
So don't believe government officials.
Especially the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
Once the number of evacuees reached 100,000, the Soviet Union really couldn't hide the fact
Yeah,
anymore.
because people are like, everyone's leaving and they all have like burns and radiation poisoning. Like, how are you going to deny that?
They're like, oh shit. And it was officially announced on a news station at 9 p.m. on April 28th, but only as, quote, there has been an accident at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant. One of the nuclear reactors was damaged. The effects of the accident are being remedied.
Is our current government like taking this playbook to run their current?
Assistance has been provided for any affected people. An investigative commission has been set up, end quote. So that's all it was like 9 p.m. news when nobody's watching. 2 sentences, that's it. An exclusion zone with a 19-mile radius was put around the disaster site.
19 miles?
Yeah. And the area was put under military control.
Also, who are the poor people that have to guard that? Like, what are they wearing?
I'll talk about them in just a second. Meanwhile, back at the reactor, there were fears that the corium, which is the radioactive lava-like mix of molten parts of the core, because remember the fire's still burning, it's still going, would travel down through the reactor pipes into pools of water underneath the reactor floor and cause additional explosions and contamination. So they decided that these pools need to be drained.
How long before this hits the groundwater?
That's kind of what they're worried about.
Yeah.
But the control valves to drain the pool are underground in the building next to reactor number 4.
What a great design.
Engineers Alexei Ananenko, Valery Bespalov, and their boss Boris Baranov were chosen to go and open the valves. It said volunteered, some of them, and I was like, no. They were voluntold.
I'm like, also like, hey guys, we got a job for you. Would you like some overtime?
Yeah. Wearing only waterproof clothing and armed with a flashlight and a dosimeter,
By waterproof, do you mean plastic?
Yeah, I mean like a rain suit.
Uh-huh. Like what you'd wear side by siding or like fisherman's gear kind of scenario.
Yeah.
Something's gonna melt right to the skin.
Yeah. They worked their way through the dark radioactive tunnels and opened the valves.
And then died immediately.
All 3 men survived.
For how many days?
They lived.
Oh, okay.
But it turns out they didn't need to do it at all. The corium dripped into the water and harmlessly solidified to inert ceramic pumice. I would be so pissed.
Also, I'm picturing like if someone had tasked me with that, I'd have to go run back and forth a couple of times to get the right tools because I would not have them on me the first time I went into the tunnel.
Yep.
Like I need my C wrench and the ratchet thingy.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you would have put on thousands of steps going back and forth. Months later, attempts were made to remove the radioactive debris still on the roof. There was about 100 tons that needed to be removed before a concrete and steel sarcophagus could be constructed to kind of enclose everything in. 60 remote-controlled robots that were primarily used for space exploration or police applications like bomb diffusing robots.
So they're spending millions of dollars because they didn't want to plan accordingly when they built it.
Mm-hmm. They use these, try to use these robots to move the debris, and I have a picture of the robots.
At least it's not like a human-looking robot.
Yeah.
It's not like Wall-E or something with like expressive eyes.
But many robots failed when the radiation affected their electronics.
Also, this one's missing some wheels.
That's like now. That's
okay. Like it has 3 wheels on one side and 1 wheel on the other
Yeah,
side.
yeah. So if you can't use robots, who are you going to use? People.
Poor people.
A group of civilians and military
Uh-huh.
members,
Peasants. They used peasants.
known as the Chernobyl liquidators, manually removed 90% of the roof material while only being able to spend 40 to 90 seconds at a time on the rooftop. So they're like literally like running back and forth pulling stuff off the roof. Because that's as long as it can be
Why
up
don't you
there.
just pour cement right on top of it?
They didn't have a way to like get close enough to pour the cement.
Drop it from a plane.
You can't drop cement from a plane.
Well, you could drop the powder and then drop water on it, and it's going to solidify.
Well, I have a picture of the sarcophagus. I'll show you. Cleanup in the immediate area lasted for 7 months. The 3 remaining reactors continued to operate for years, with the last being decommissioned in 2000.
I thought that they closed Chernobyl down like immediately afterwards.
Nope. This is
Because the whole town is like a no-go
so.
zone.
This is the sarcophagus.
Okay. So they had to do like scaffolding and pour it to do this.
Yeah.
I think my way would have been better. And like it wouldn't be pretty, but it would get the job done.
The reactor explosion killed 2 men immediately, and 28 other workers and firefighters died.
Also, why are these guys just walking around
That's
down
like-
here like nothing's happening?
That's that picture is much more recent. That's not
Okay.
like that's like in the 90s.
Like, but still, like you can't be
Well-
close to it now.
I mean, that could have been a worker who's like going to reactor number 3 to work.
Jesus Christ, people. And I bet you they're advertising this for like $13 an hour.
I don't know what the ruble to dollar ratio is, but yes. 28 other so the 2 men died immediately. 28 other workers and firefighters died from acute radiation poisoning within 3 months. Acute radiation syndrome affects bone marrow and causes a very low white blood cell count, among other symptoms, and prevents the body from fighting infections. So it's the infections that
Leukemia.
kill you, yeah. By 2002, 4,000 new cases of childhood thyroid cancer were reported in Belarus, Russia, and
Mhm.
Ukraine. Along with 6 others, Anatoly Dyatlov, the deputy chief engineer who was there,
Mm-hmm.
was criminally charged and convicted of failing to follow safety regulations and was sentenced to 10 years in prison, but was released in 1990 due to health issues related to radiation exposure.
Get what you deserve.
It's estimated that 400 times more radioactive material was released during Chernobyl than Hiroshima and Nagasaki combined.
And those vaporize people.
Yeah. About 60,000 square miles of land was significantly contaminated with radiation. Plants and
I'll just say, like, are you going to tell me about the animals now?
I didn't print a picture because it's horrifying, but there's a picture of a pig that has like 8 legs and each leg has like 2 legs on it.
Uh-huh.
It's disgusting.
Like, I was thinking you were going to start talking about, like, the long-term medical effects of the animals because there's, like, they're living around there. Like, don't hunt these. Please don't
Yeah.
eat them.
Plants and animals in a downwind forest had mutation rates increased by 20 times.
Mm-hmm.
Nearby farms reported that 350 animals were born with deformities between 1986 and 1990. Between 1981 and 1986, there were 3.
Well, yeah, it takes a while.
Yeah, so
But that means that
before the disaster, 3 animals in 5 years.
Yeah.
After the disaster, 350 animals
Yeah.
in 5 years. The exclusion zone was eventually enlarged to encompass 1,600 square miles and is now mostly reverted to forest. As of 2016, 187 locals had illegally returned to their homes in the exclusion zone.
mm-hmm.
The area became a tourist destination with 125,000 people visiting in 2019. But following the Russian invasion in 2022, it's closed to tourists.
I would just say vacation trip.
I was like, ooh, fall trip.
No, I'm not going to
No,
Chernobyl.
That's horrible. No, I have no reason to go there.
No.
Because you can't even get close enough to see anything.
Well,
Like,
I don't want to go to Russia either.
yeah, I don't want to go to Ukraine. Not right now, anyways.
No,
There
like-
was a time I would be like, oh, it'd be cool to go, like,
I don't want to go to Russia. I would like to go to like the coast over there where wine country is, but
that's the Chernobyl disaster. I could have talked, probably had 2 full episodes on this, but I didn't want to get too deep into the weeds with
I think I might do an episode just on the animals and
You
things
could
and
do
like
that,
what's
yeah.
been going on and like what a vacation is like there.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
just pretty impressed that I got nuclear fission
you,
correct.
yeah, and like you applied the concepts correctly.
Uh-huh. She is
Yeah.
flabbergasted.
There's a I watched it years ago. I think during COVID it came out. There's it's a show. It's a drama show. I think it's a 4-part miniseries or something on HBO
Mhm.
called Chernobyl. It's really good.
Yeah.
Obviously, certain things are dramatized, but
I watched a horror movie where people go to visit Chernobyl and then there's zombies.
yeah.
Very accurate, I'm sure.
But yeah, we'll get that disgusting pig picture and post on the website too.
Yeah.
I didn't want to print it on my work printer.
So, if you have a choice between visiting Chernobyl or watching the Real Housewives of
God damn it.
Beverly Hills reunion, which one are you going to choose?
Well, Chernobyl's a literal war zone right now, like all of Ukraine is.
And you would die because
Yeah.
you're going to get poisoning. Or you sit on the sofa and you watch Erica and Dorit fight on the Real Housewives
You know,
reunion.
I'd have to think about it.
I mean, I got some bad news for you.
We're doing both.
On the way to Ukraine, the chopper's landing as we speak. We're gonna go. Erica and Dorit are gonna be on the chopper with us, and we're going to the
Andy
Ukraine.
Cohen is flying us to the Ukraine.
It is like I don't know how this happened either, guys.
But yeah, there's another story about men
Mm.
and hubris, and
See, this is why it's like the FBI guy that we have now.
oh, fucking Cash Patel.
But Cash Patel is making all these goddamn decisions.
Mhm.
So the guy who was refusing to do the right thing, he got radiation poisoning and died from it at least.
He actually died in his 60s. It was of cancer,
That's so disappointing.
but yeah,
Yeah.
because he got out of prison. Like, so you're
he
in
was in prison.
you're
too.
in prison for your role in a nuclear disaster, but then they release you because you have the effects of radiation poisoning. Like, come the fuck on.
But I also think though that he was the creator of his own disaster.
Yeah, so there was 3 people who went to trial and stuff for their negligence. Everyone else was pretty much just like a guy doing his
Like
job.
I'm just a worker bee.
Especially the firefighters.
Yeah. They just showed up to put out like
Mhm.
they are not equipped to put out that
No.
fire.
No. And the whole thing kind of highlights
That'd be like the Ripley Fire Department showing up.
yeah. No shade to the Ripley Fire Department, but
like any volunteer fire department that we have
Mhm.
here in the Copper Country
Yep.
showing up and trying to put out a nuclear reactor
Yeah.
disaster. Like it's not happening.
Yeah, these people are like leaving their day jobs.
Go throw some baking soda on it.
Yeah, pretty much. There's pictures, the elephant's foot. I don't know if you've ever seen that picture.
I'm gonna look the pig up.
After the corium melted and they could finally get to it, it was still super high in radiation, but that was the first time. It took like 7 years or something before they could get a photo of it.
When I look up Chernobyl pig, there's like a whole bunch of wild boars now.
Yeah, and it's because it's been overrun by forest.
Yeah.
A lot of animals. Yeah, it's bad.
Oh, it's not a full pig. It's like a fetus pig.
Yeah, it's a baby pig, but it's got like legs on legs.
And like a leg coming out of its back.
Yeah,
And, like,
yeah, it's real bad.
That's not great.
No.
At least the wild boars are holding their own.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I mean, at least
I'd be interested to know kind of like, is the DNA changed so much from this long-term radiation? And are the animals that are there now able to like kind of live a normal lifespan because they've adapted?
Yeah, and I would guess that obviously animals breed faster than humans. So like rabbits, for example.
I mean, not always.
Well, so you'd have to be exposed to the radiation first, and it has to mutate your DNA. Then you have to pass that mutation on,
and then it goes generation and generation and generation.
And there are times when nature's just going to delete that mutation,
because
or it's going to be so mutated that
it's not
you become
viable.
sterile. Yeah.
So for the next episode, I'm going going to give you a choice.
It's always a choice.
Would you like one about an influencer or something related to Charles Darwin?
Let's do Darwin because that's a little bit what we're doing. Like we're talking about evolution, not evolution, but
I'll do Darwin.
okay. Do I have to learn about evolution?
Nope.
I'm just kidding. I know about evolution. I have a degree in biology.
But I just want you to remember.
Oh no!
That you asked for this.
Oh no! I just remembered.
You asked for this.
Oh no! I just remembered
What?
that he was like a eugenicist.
No, Charles Darwin was not a eugenicist.
No, he wrote. He wasn't a eugenicist. Some of his ideas in writing on evolution were not
applied
PC?
correctly. But I just want you to remember that you chose this.
Okay.
And I want everyone else to remember that Kyla chose this.
Yeah, I do remember reading something, in my many episodes about eugenics. Charles Darwin's name came up.
When you showed me that Spotify writes its own blurb.
Oh yeah, that's right. So if our listeners listen on Spotify and you look, there's a thing for chapters. Spotify defines and titles. It uses AI.
Yeah.
But it defines and titles the chapters. And some of them are hilarious. And I was like, oh no.
It's in writing and it's on the website. Also, I want anyone just to Google Kyla Cole.
Don't Google Kyla Cole.
Google Kyla Cole and see what comes up.
Don't do it.
Both examples
both things
are
bad.
hilarious.
I need to go into witness protection, I think. Nicole protection program.
There is no program that can protect you. So, next time, we'll talk about Charles Darwin.
Upon request, apparently.
Yeah. She can't get enough.
Shut up.
To the next pour.